Hi, I'm Sherry here at the Little Beading Closet. Thanks for joining me in today's tutorial for this tapered tassel necklace. It has a nice gradual curve and finishes down here with the tassel. We're going to work on it in about 3 steps. One being the center section here, then we'll add our pearl encrusted strands and finish with the tassel on the end. So let's start by looking at our supplies and begin. Your supplies are going to be size 15 seed beads, size 11 seed beads, and mini duos. I'll be using 3mm pearls, although you could use any 3mm bead that you like. I'll use a lobster claw clasp and a size 12 beading needle. And the thread today will be Wildfire in .006. In step 1, we'll be working on the center section that I talked about in the beginning. This is how you achieve the nice Y shape and gradual curve to your necklace. To begin, pick up 1 mini duo and 3 size 11 seed beads. With this on your needle, go ahead and bring them down near the end of your thread. Needle back through the mini duo, bringing all 3 of your size 11 seed beads up along the bottom. Now we're going to be knotting our ends together. We're going to do 2 tight knots just here above your mini duo. Pulling securely. I'm going to go ahead and trim off my tail since I won't be using it later. Picking up 3 more size 11 seed beads, needle back into your mini duo and the size 11. Now just for the very beginning, I'm going to needle through all 3 seed beads here on this end of the mini duo and back through the mini duo and the size 11 seed bead above it. Pulling this all tight, needle into the middle, size 11, here at the end. Picking up 1 size 11, 1 mini duo, and 3 more size 11s. With these on your needle, bring them down your thread until they're sitting next to the other beads. Needle back through the mini duo, pick up 1 more size 11 seed bead and needle into the size 11 here. Make sure that you enter into the 11 in the side opposite that your thread is coming out of. At this point, I like to turn the work in my hand, and I am going to come up the side through the 11, mini duo, and 11, and pull my thread through. Now we're going to step up into the 11 here on the end. Continue working on this strip until you have a total of 6 mini duos and you've come up the side and through the tip. At this point, we're going to pick up our piece and needle down through 1 11 and the mini duo and 1 more 11. Now we're going to use a size 15 seed bead and come into the next 11, mini duo, and 11. Pull that tight. Again, we're going to pick up a size 15 seed bead and come through the 11, mini duo, and 11. Pulling it tight. Here at this third space, we're not going to add any beads. So no beads, just go through the next 11 mini duo and 11. Like so. Switching back over to our size 11 seed bead, come through the 11, mini duo and 11. Picking up one more size 11 seed bead, come on into the 11, your mini duo, now we're going to needle around to the other side, so come through the 3 11s here on the end, and you can see this will give us the curved shape for the end of our necklace. Come back through your mini duo in the size 11. When you get to this point, you're going to want to stop and make another section exactly the same. And I went ahead and I made another one. So you're going to have 2 at the same point. You can take one of the ones you made and sit it to the side. Working with one of them, we're going to put one of the mini duos between each gap formed by the size 11 seed beads. So I picked up a mini duo and I'll just come through an 11, a mini duo, and 11, and pull that through. You're going to want to pull your mini duo in tight right there and complete this step of adding a mini duo all the way along the edge of this piece. I'm adding the last mini duo here along the edge, and you can see that your curve, which was more extreme before you add the mini duos, gets more gradual once they're added in. And then go ahead and just needle through this tip size 11 here at the end. We'll go ahead and set this piece down, and now we're going to be working with this piece. We're going to zip 3 of the mini duos into this piece. So this gap that is formed here between the size 11s will house the mini duo here on the other side. So working with this piece and the thread and needle from here, I'm going to needle into one of these mini duos and bring the 2 pieces together. So I'll needle through the 11 mini duo and 11 on this side, pulling my thread through and bringing these 2 pieces together. So we're going to repeat that for the 3 mini duos here at the bottom. And then coming through my 11 mini duo and 11, needling through the 3rd mini duo, and then over here on this side I'll come through an 11 mini duo and 11, pull my needle through, and making sure everything's nice and tight. I'm going to continue adding just a mini duo here along this edge. So I'm going to pick up a mini duo and come through my 11 mini duo and 11, one more mini duo, and through the 11 mini duo and 11 here on the end, needle through the tip bead. This is how you get the gradual curve here down at the bottom or Y shape of your necklace. Now for the rest of the length of the necklace, we're going to continue with the basic simplicity stitch of picking up 1 11, 1 mini duo, and 3 more size 11s. And we'll bring that down next to our work, just like we were doing in the beginning. Needle back through your mini duo. Picking up 1 more size 11 and coming through this middle bead here, entering in the side opposite that your thread was on. Needle through the 11, mini duo, and 11. Pulling it tight. I like to turn my work in my hand as I'm working on it, coming through this bead on the end. And I'm going to continue repeating that stitch until I have the length that I'd like for my necklace. As you worked on your necklace, I'm sure you held it up around your neck to get your desired length. But it's very important to note that the next steps in this project will cause the overall length to shrink. Please add an additional 1 inch of length to each end before moving on. After I added my last mini duo and needled through the tip 11, I'm ready to add my clasp. I'm going to pick up 2 size 11 seed beads and 1 end of my clasp and 2 more size 11 seed beads, and needle into the opposite side of this tip 11. You'll want to retrace this thread path 2 or 3 times to make sure that the clasp is nice and secure against the necklace. Go ahead and lay out your necklace. You should notice that your thread is exiting this tip 11 on the inside of the band. We're going to go ahead and needle into the first 11, mini duo, and 11, coming back down towards the bottom. In the gap formed between each size 11, I'm going to go ahead and place a mini duo in that space. So all you'll need to do is pick up a mini duo on your needle. Make sure it sits snug in here between the 2 size 11 seed beads. And repeat that process until you come all the way down here. I'm going to add my last mini duo bead here in this gap between the 2 11s. Now that I've placed all the mini duos along this edge, now that we've added all the mini duos and come down through here, we're going to be adding 11s along the edge here between each opening of the size 11 seed beads. So now we just needle from this point around our first opening of the size 11s. And sometimes it's easier just to do 1 bead at a time when you have multiple thread paths. So I'm just going to do that and work my way up to this first gap here, my 11s. Now that I'm at my first gap in the 11s, I'm just going to pick up 1 11 and come through the 11 and the mini duo and the 11 after it, and sit that size 11 right there in the opening. So continue adding size 11s along this edge until you get to the end. Once you've added all the size 11s along the edge, you'll come up here to the space just before your clasp. We're going to be filling in the spaces here and also be doing a turnaround so our thread will be in position for the next step. So we're picking up 1 11 and coming through the 2 seed beads here. Go ahead and needle through your clasp of choice and down the 2 seed beads on the other side. making sure not to get your thread caught on your clasp. Picking up one more size 11. I'm going to come through the next 11. Now I would like my thread to be coming out of this bead right here. So we're going to come down and do a turnaround. Continue through the next mini duo. And through the next 11. We're going to cross through the middle. So come through this 11 here in the middle. And then on this outside, without the mini duos on the other side, come down through 1 11, 1 mini duo, and 1 11. I'm going to turn my work in my hand. Come through this middle 11 towards the side with your mini duos. And now we're going to needle back up this side through our clasp and exit this size 11 here. And you'll be ready for the next step. You want to be on the side here that does not have the mini duos. We'll be working with the size 15 seed beads, and I'm using 3mm round pearls. You could use any 3mm round bead you'd like. I'll pick up 115, one of the 3mm pearls, and one more size 15. You'll be coming into the sticking out 11s here along this edge. So I'll needle through there and pull this into place. I'll add my pearl trim down along the edge the same way with 115, 1 3mm pearl and 115. Coming into the next sticking out 15 here along the edge. And as I do this and pull it through, I'm not going to over tighten it, just a general even tension as you place your pearls. So continue working on that along the outside edge. After you added the last pearl here, coming through the 15, you'll pick up a 15, a 3mm pearl and a 15 again. And here we don't have a middle sticking out bead. So coming through this 11, closest to the mini duo, pull your pearl, 15 and pearl here next to your work. For the next pearl, I want you to pick up just 1 3mm pearl and 1 size 15. So with the pearl and 15 on your needle, come into the sticking out 11 here in the middle, and pull it through. And that's how you're going to get them to lay evenly down here on the end. Next, we'll pick up a 15, 3mm pearl and a 15. And with these 3 on our needle, come into the sticking out 11 down here on the end. Again, pick up a 15, a 3mm pearl and a 15. And come down into the very last 15 down here on the edge. You can just go ahead and needle into this 11 here on the end. And we're going to leave this thread here for now for attaching the tassel. To attach finish the other side of my clasp. Since I don't want to use any wire guards, I'm just going to pick up 4 of the size 11 seed beads and needle back through the 11 here on the end. Now I'm going to come up 2 of the size 11 seed beads, pulling my thread through, and then I'll come through my clasp and down the other 2 size 11 seed beads. And I will go ahead and reinforce that thread path one more time. Now that I have this side of my clasp on, I'm ready to mirror the same steps on this side of the necklace. I'll go ahead and leave a timestamp that you can go back to refresh your memory for any of that. To work on our cute little mini tassel using the Miniduos, I'm going to begin with a good 5 feet of thread on my needle. I'll pick up 1 stop bead and bring it down near the end of my tail, leaving just a few inches, and needle back through that bead. Again, we're just going to use this as a stop bead. We're going to pick up 4 of the Miniduos at one time on our needle and let those come down and sit next to the stop bead. Now we're going to work on the next row for this using 2 Miniduos, and with the first one and into the next one. You should have 2 of your Miniduos at the end now, sitting side by side. Picking up 1 more Miniduo to complete this row. Needle into the very bottom Miniduo, the one that's next to your stop bead. We're going to make another row with 2 of our Miniduos, picking up 1, coming into the next bead, picking up 1, and coming into the next bead. We're going to do another row, picking up 1, coming into the next bead, picking up 1, and coming into the bead on the end, pulling everything tight. And we're on our last row, picking up 1, coming into the next bead, picking up 1, and coming through the bead on the end. At this point, we'll be ready to zip up this little unit into the top cylinder of our tassel. So coming out of this Miniduo here, needle into the one on the left, just beside it. And then needle into the empty hole on the row to the right. Now we're going to needle into the empty hole on the row to the left. Then we're going to needle into the empty hole on the row to the right. So you're just basically zipping it up like you would with a peyote stitch. At this point, I can move my stop bead out of the way and needle into the hole that has the tail coming out of it and go all the way up that row to the top. I'm going to needle up and down these rows to help secure the shape. So we're coming out here at the end. We're just going to needle all the way through the beads of the next row. Again, I'll needle through all the Miniduos in the next row. And this really helps tighten it up, keeping its shape. And I'll come down and do the same, repeating it all the way around. And you'll feel when it's nice and secure just needling up and down the rows. And securing the shape. At this point, I'm going to completely remove my stop bead, and we'll start adding our little tassels. I've noticed that both my tail and working thread are coming out the same end, and I really want my working tail to be coming out the other side of this piece. So I'm going to needle back through another row, so my working end and my tail are now opposite. Turning this around in my hand, I'm just going to needle through the center and come out the other end. Picking up one of my size 11 seed beads, I'm going to drop it down here next to my work and just needle back through the empty hole here in the center. Now I'm going to add my first tassel. Picking up 8 seed beads, I'm going to bring those down here near the center. Pick up one more seed bead and needle back through the 8 here that we just added and all the way back up to the top. Now we have one in the middle. I'm going to go through this size 11 up here on the top. Now I want to needle down one of my rows of mini duos. So I'm exiting one of the mini duos down here. Picking up 8 seed beads and dropping them next to my work. I'm going to pick up one more seed bead, having it on my needle back through all 8 of the seed beads I just added. And then this one on the bottom will hold these in place, and then come back through your mini duo. Let the thread lay on top of this mini duo. Needle into the other side of it. I'm going to be adding the little tassel fringe coming out of each mini duo here. So again, I have 8 seed beads on my needle. I'll drop them next to my work, picking up one more, and then I'll needle directly back into the 8 that I just added, and up through the mini duo above it. And there's another fringe. I'm going to come now into the next mini duo and repeat that all the way around. I went around and added the tassel coming out of both sides of each mini duo. And on my very last one here, I want to needle back up this row to the top. Careful not to get any of your tassels caught in your loop. And we're going to come all the way up to the top. What did I say? There we go. You'll want to needle back down the next row. Might have to just do a few beads at a time. So now that I've come down this next row, there's this sort of gap between the tassels right underneath your super duo. or miniduo. This is where I'm going to add another tassel going all the way around one more time. So again, I have the 8 seed beads on my needle, picking up one more for the end, bringing these next to my work. I'm going to skip the end bead, needle back through the 8, pulling this up. And now we're coming out of this hole of the miniduo. I want to needle into the other hole, the same miniduo, and travel back up to the top. Kind of slowly, I don't want to get anything caught. So again, I'm going to work up to the top. So coming down the next row of miniduos, I'm going to again put a tassel right here underneath the center of this miniduo, and I'm going to repeat that all the way around. I finished adding a tassel underneath the middle of each of my super duos, and you can see how full this little tassel turns out. For this project, go ahead and tie off your ends and trim them off. To attach your tassel, we're going to be working with the 2 tails that are coming out down here at the end of the necklace. I'm just going to pick up the needle for one of the tails and pick up one size 11 seed bead. I'll needle through the size 11 seed bead that is at the top of the tassel, and then pull it up to the necklace. I'm going to pick up one more size 11 seed bead. At this point, I'm going to come into the size 11 over here on the other side. I'll go ahead and pull the tassel up right here. I suggest you needle along the edge until you come past the 2 middle 15s and you're back up here to the part that the middle bead is a size 11, and adding a few half-hitch knots to secure this. I still have this other tail that I'm going to use to help secure the tassel even further. So I'm going to come through the 11 and into the tip 11 of the tassel. Then, just like before, come up your other side, tie a few half-hitch knots along the way, and trim your tail. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day.